Thank you for joining me today on Hanescast. I'm Matt Hanes. And today's date is Monday, November 18th, 2024. Technocrats Musk and Ramaswamy have made the siren call to assemble a cohort of technocrats from the four corners of America, and they will recognize and radically downsize the government and introduce AI to take over functions and jobs. It's about efficiency, you know, and so far Republicans are eating out of their hands. This is Patrick Wood, the editor of Technocracy News, is what he stated it in an article on Technocracy News. But, you know, I guess Donald Trump appoints Musk and Ramaswamy for Doge, and they just had some comments on Twitter I seen, and relating to that, it says we don't need on this is on X. It says the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, led by ex-owner and Tesla CEO Elon Musk and entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, is looking for what they described as small government revolutionaries, ready to work on what they described as unglamorous cost cutting. We are very grateful to the thousands of Americans who have expressed interest in helping us at Doge, they wrote on X. And so what we have is Ramaswamy and Elon Musk working with this Doge, and they're reaching out for applicants to turn in their resume, and they can turn their resume in. And there was another quote here on X. It says, "We don't need more part-time idea generators. We need super high IQ, small government revolutionaries willing to work 80 plus hours per week on unglamorous cost cutting." Doge continued calling on those individuals to DM their CV, and the CV there is like a curriculum vitae. It's basically what it does is you can put all this in your resume, your accomplishments, all your productions, anything. Basically, you're telling them how smart you are, and they'll take and review it. And Musk and Vivek will review and then pick the top 1% of the applicants. So it seems like, to me now, I know it might be outside the box, but to me, it seems like we are seeing a technocratic takeover of our current condition of what we are seeing. And you may say, well, yeah, we need that. It's about time. But don't forget the fact that we've had 4 years of this demoralization from the Biden-Harris administration, like on purpose, I believe. And it's for this purpose, I believe, that we are seeing selections. We are seeing a setup to this, the beast system. I've been talking about this for a long time. I mean, the enemy's going to use who he's going to use. God's going to allow what he's going to allow. It's going to go the way it is written. And because when salt loses its saltiness and light is not shining in the darkness quite so bright as it used to, and then you have these mega right, like the New Apostolic Reformation and people like that, the Charlie Kirks or the Marjorie Greens, or, you know, just the people that are pushing this, like we are going to take back these 7 mountain mandates type mentality where we take dominion now over this earth. That's not going to happen. And that's because that's not the right eschatology. That's not what the scriptures teach. Things will wax worse. They'll get worse and worse, and we're seeing them, even though it sounds really good on the surface, it does. But we've seen a complete demoralization from the Biden-Harris administration with lawless decision-making. We got transgender rights. We got kids getting their body parts cut off. Just total whacked out LGBTQ plus gay pride parades, drag queen story times at libraries and middle school and preschools, and Biden with like these signs of dementia. We got Harris crazy as a bed bug. All the while Trump, up to this point, was and to the point of the elections, was, continued to have these MAGA rallies all over America. It didn't stop. Biden falls off the public scene prior to the debates. Harris mysteriously, she just shows up. I mean, obviously she's there, but she shows up at the front ticket, and just like everybody decided they want to run against Trump and during debates, and she's going to be like the next president. And it's all set up. It has people crying out for Trump, for whatever you guys want to do. That's what we want. We want to do whatever you want us to do, and we'll listen to you. And because you have all the answers, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and then the disciple to Peter Thiel, who is J.D. Vance. And so J.D. Vance is Peter Thiel's disciple of Peter Thiel, who's part of the young global leaders at the World Economic Forum. And so you can't make this stuff up, but that's just what we are seeing. And, we have all this, there's a lot of talk about people, there's like, oh yeah, making fun like Tucker Carlson or anybody else saying, talking about Hitler. Well, you know what? I'm not against Trump. I'm not against any of these. All I'm saying is we can't just blindly look at this and say this is a great deal. And we have the two-state solution that they're looking at in Israel with Trump, Jared Kushner. They're talking about that. I can do that on the next podcast. The third temple, that's another podcast in itself. We're seeing all these things revving up, coming to a head. And who's that perfect guy that steps in the future is the Antichrist. How long is that? I don't know. But we're seeing whether it's all I'm saying is we can't call on any man to save America because we don't know for sure. Because I'm going to read something here, and I just want you to listen to this and tell me who you think this is. It's stating this. He says this is in his very first speech, starting with the family and including all nations of honor and loyalty, nation and fatherland, culture and economy, even the eternal foundations of our morals and our faith. That's Hitler's first speech. He goes on to say this. He went on to say, the national government will therefore regard it as its first and supreme task to restore to the German people unity of mind and will. It will preserve and defend the foundations on which the strength of our nation rests. It will take under its firm protection Christianity as the basis of our morality, and the family as the nucleus of our nation and our state, standing above estates, groups that make up society's social hierarchy, and classes. It will bring back to our people the consciousness of its racial and political unity and the obligations arising therefrom. It wishes to base the education of German youth on respect for our great past and pride in our old traditions. Germany must not and will not sink into communist anarchy. So that's what Hitler said, and we see how that worked out. So when we see, I mentioned this on a previous podcast about, I believed that Trump would win in a landslide. And then I also believed that he was going to help with the two-state solution, that it was going to be this resurrected, I forget what they called it. I thought I had it in my notes, but I don't. It's the deal of the century. I think that it's what it's called, the deal of the century. We got the United Nations having the summit in this just past September, calling it the Summit for Peace and Security. We have so it's coming from different angles. I'm not saying that, believe me, I'm not saying like, oh, Trump's the Antichrist. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is when he appoints J.D. Vance, who is in the transhumanist movement and in all this, the digital IDs and things like that, all I'm saying is that's a perfect, how soon do we start having these issues with people coming across the border? And then one of the solutions is, oh, we just need digital IDs now. So we're seeing this setup to this digital system and this technocratic rule by technology. It's governing through technology. And that's the point, I think, that Patrick Wood, the editor for Technocracy News, was getting at. And so when we see these things happening, and when we see X and other platforms making Kamala Harris look, like as crazy as she really is, when they show that, well, then people start really seeing it, and they're like, wow, I don't think she's competent and to run this country. Well, do you really think? Because I believe that I could smoke her in a debate. And so we see these things happening, and then we see the tech giants rally around Trump the last few months leading up to November, using X and other platforms, showing everyone, that he's the choice, she's not. We see these things. And so we have Ramaswamy and we have Musk. Now they're going to head up the Department of Government Efficiency. And so how are they going to do that? Well, they're saying they're looking for the top 1% of technology gurus. Those will probably help police and surveillance and all that. So what else they want to use them for? They're looking for the best of the best to help them. And these applicants want to make America great again as well. And so that's what they're looking for. People on board for technology. Just happens to be that Peter Thiel, Zuckerberg, and all the other tech giants in America, who is persuading, also working as an ally with Israel for the two-state solution, apparently. And we just see all these things coming to pass, and the two-state solution is not what God wants. And so so it's God's land. He gives it to Israel, and then it's like somebody coming to your house and start measuring for half of your yard, and you're saying, well, this is my yard. Well, we're going to measure it. Well, this was given to me by somebody. Well, we're going to split it up and we're going to take part of it. But because of all the conflicts and the demonic warfare that's going on, people just want peace and security. And that's why Paul says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, while they say peace and security, sudden destruction will come upon them. And what I believe he's saying is those people that are in that leadership mentality where they rule and reign through their power, they're power-hungry people, and how they do that is they promote fear and they promote the demoralization of a society so that they can come in and take over and make things great again. Build back better. That's right from the World Economic Forum or the United Nations, one of the two, but they're all in it together. How close is Make America Great Again? You're still making something great that's been demolished. Well, Harris and Biden demolished America, not them. They were just the poster children, poster children for what they were doing. They caught all the flack. Look at Harris, caught all the crazy that she endured. Biden, with his dementia, signs of dementia and the crazy things that he was doing. It was just like, who could not notice these things? And so now it's just a perfect opportunity to make America great again. That's why it was so obvious to me when I seen people like putting Trump signs in their yard, and Trump flags everywhere. And it's like, what do you guys, anybody can see that you don't have to promote this. I mean, we got Elon Musk on Twitter, the whole world's rallying around Trump right now. And so it's just, to me, it's obvious that he's a typology of the Antichrist, to where the Antichrist will have the whole world eating from his hand. And so because he's going to have the peace solution, the peace treaty. So I'm not saying that that's who Trump is, but with the new apostolic reformation movement and the 7 mountain mandates, and we're going to take America back, and we're going to, the Great Awakening, those things are gone. The Great Awakening is going to happen after the rapture. That's when the Great Awakening is going to happen. So in the meantime, I'm just pointing these things out. I mean, these are the things that go through my mind when I see these things. So if you want to believe it, go for it. But I highly question it. I don't believe that any of what is going on the surface of things is really what's going on. It's never really the way it seems it is, because it's a spiritual battle. Satan wants people to be blind. And so we have all the false teachers and all the false prophets on YouTube. They're saying everything, misquoting the Bible and everything else. And Satan's a liar, and he's duping people. People fall for it, and people don't know what to believe. So how could you not believe and fall for this? Everything's going to be right now that we have the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. We have Elon Musk, the smartest, most, the greatest, wealthiest guy in the world. He's so smart. He's so talented. Yeah, but don't you understand how some of the things that he says and some of the apparel that he wears? I got a video of him. I wanted to play actually Ramaswamy and Musk. I kind of got excited there for a second, but I'm going to play Musk here, and then if I have time, I'll go back to Ramaswamy. Here's what Elon Musk had to say at the rally in New York a couple of days before the election. Oh, my bad.
Today, you're being taxed. You're being taxed. All government spending is taxation. So whether it's direct taxation or all government spending, it either becomes inflation or it's direct taxation. Your money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that.
Oh, DOGE is going to fix that. The Department of Government Efficiency, they're going to fix it.
We're going to get the government off your back and out of your pocketbook.
They're going to get the government off our back, okay.
And America's just not just going to be great. America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing.
And the crowd goes crazy. And so we see that. One thing that I noticed there when he says, we're going to get the government off your back. Well, the scriptures tell us in Isaiah that the government, talking about Jesus, he says, the word of God says, the government will be on his shoulders, talking about Jesus. He'll be wonderful counselor, mighty God, everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. And so, and his reign will be forever. And so what these technocrats are doing, like Musk and Neuralink, J.D. Vance, Jared Kushner, and the likes, are transhumanist agenda they have, and they are trying to create eternal life. And so whether they know it or not, if they're not, if they're not seeing what's going on, they could be used and they don't even know it. So I'm not against them or anything. Personally, I think Trump's funny. Some of the stuff he says, I like it, but he's not where my trust is. And so we have to be careful about, when we see these things in Tucker Carlson and Fox News or anything like that. These are all platforms. Satan is the prince and power of the air. And so we have to understand that. And so when we start putting and swaying our affection towards this world and things being great again, what about the other countries who are suffering tremendous persecution and things like that. We just think that we just, go on with our daily lives, pop a coldie, and then just, whatever that looks like, go to work, come home, have fun, go watch sports, watch the Buckeyes, all these exciting things. We just do these things and everything's just going to be great again. Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about anybody else. Just, take care of yourself. And so we have to remember, when we see the demoralization of this country over the last 4 years falling just in the immorality and things like that, and the attack on our kids and school, and, all the crazy pedophilia and all these things, that's why people are crying out for help. And so that's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing whether this may help for a moment, but it's still a stepping block for the digital, the digital technology and the digital IDs and technocracy and being able to rule through technology. Here's what Ramaswamy had to say as part of the D.O.G.E, the Department of Government Efficiency, on Tucker Carlson a couple of days before the election.
It's not just winning the election. It's actually, are we actually going to do what conservatives, Republicans, when they've governed, have long failed to do? I think the real myth we've fallen into is this trap of believing that we can reform this system, that we're going to reform the deep state, that we're going to fire Christopher Wray or whoever at the top of the FBI and put in a new figurehead on top, that we're going to reform the bureaucracy. And I think that reform is just a myth, right? It's impossible. We're not running against, it's not that Christopher Wray is an individual bad actor at the top of the FBI. He's just another cog in the system, just like Kamala Harris, just like Joe Biden. And so the question for us, the real test for us, I think, Tucker, is not going to be the election in November. It is going to be whether we have the spine to actually see through and do the hard thing that we've never done before. Nobody's done it. No, Donald Trump in his first term is the closest we've gotten. But nobody's really stepped up and said, no. Are we actually going to try to reform and massage this thing to incrementally window dress it and advance our own goals? Or are we actually going to get in there and shut it down? And I think that is the one answer that will save this country. And I'm supporting Donald Trump because I believe he's the man who is going to be the best suited to get that job done. But the real test comes not in November, but after that, to me.
Yeah, he needs they need all of America to get on board with what they're doing. So if they say, hey, it's just like back 4 years ago with the warp speed, or just like, hey, just shut the churches down for 2 weeks and then we'll see how this goes. Or, hey, just take this and this jab and no big deal. Just, all these things. Are we too quick to forget these things and what's going on? And so just think about those things. I question it. I don't believe everything I see. I don't believe everything I hear. We have to have eyes to see, ears to hear, and so that we can understand the signs of the times. But anyway, hey, until next time, space age whiz kids like J.D. Vance, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, is it Altman? Anyway, there's a lot of them, but they are some space age whiz kids. They want technocracy. That's what the enemy wants, a digital system where he can get to his mark. Quarters! Give me quarters!